Welcome. I'm Natasha.
And I'm Bre.
On Beyond the Marley, we bring you exclusive interviews with some of the biggest names in the dance team world. Each episode features an engaging conversation with top professionals who share tips and tricks for success and powerful stories that will leave you feeling inspired. Whether you are a seasoned pro or just getting started in the dance team world, Beyond the Marley podcast has something for you.
Good morning. Welcome to Vegas. You're so close.
I'm so close to you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You can walk to me. I'm right down the street.
I could literally walk to you. You're not in James's podcast room.
I'm in the guest bedroom having
Love
a
it.
podcast.
Do you know what lives rent-free in my head right now?
What?
The Brio tea.
I know. I just want to say okay. I just want to say my heart hurts today. It's been on my mind, on my heart. I just think first and foremost, this is kids that it's affecting. I can't imagine graduating seniors to any age. Like they've worked so hard already. I think about how much work kids have already put into the season, and then to just be told your season's done.
Dude, that's crazy. Or they literally just went to a competition. Some of their teams got paid bids, and then that week, get a paid bid, and then it's just oh, just kidding, you don't have a studio anymore. Can you imagine those poor kids, those poor families? And they've paid money, and obviously, I don't really know what's going on
I
because
think
I'm
they
not.
got. I think they got partial paid. I don't think they got paid bids, but they still got
Yeah.
something. But still, yeah, we saw them last weekend, and we love seeing them. Our kids love seeing them. They love competing against them. I feel like they're just one of those top programs, and our kids are like, oh, I want to compete with them, and they help us be better ourselves. And so you just don't want to see it for a program, and especially a program that we see every time we compete. And the teachers, I don't know, kudos for them. It sounds like, they've been doing it out of the goodness of their heart, which, I mean, that don't pay your bills. And so, I don't know, kudos to those teachers out there that are just tried to make it work, I guess, for the kids and for the families. But, and also, I guess for me, I'm just when Blue Bonnet's closed, it's okay, that's an iconic program. And now you're hearing about Brio, you're just as a
It's
studio
crazy
owner and
how
you're a studio owner.
things can change.
Yeah. And
A
I
handful of
guess
years ago, Brio and Blue Bonnets were at the top, and now it's both of those are closed. Granted, you still have Chelsea with Dance Vault, who trained up so many of
yeah,
those Blue Bonnets kids. You know what I mean? Chelsea
yeah,
and Kelsey. I know there's more
yeah.
than just them. There's Sierra over there too, but yeah, it'll be so interesting to see where these incredible Brio coaches end up going. We should try to have someone on.
Yeah, I think so. And I hope that, again, I just hope that they can figure out something for the season at least. And so these kids can, 'cause I just think man, that's so hard. They're cheated out of, they got to feel cheated out of things. And I think the other thing is important to just remember for our industry. It can get so oh my gosh, did you hear this? And the rumor mill, I guess, of what's true, what's not true. And also just keeping in the forefront, these are kids and these are real families. And from a studio owner standpoint, my heart just hurts because I know how hard it is. We all do. We all know that how hard it is to make sure you pay all your bills, to make sure you're paying your salaries, to make sure you're keeping the lights on. And it takes a lot, and it can get out of hand real fast if you don't manage it. I know something my husband and I talk about, we own the studio together, is taxes. Taxes right now are just crazy expensive. And just making sure that you just have all your ducks in a row, and it can be hard.
And again, like you said, the rumor mill, but I would love to get someone on who knows more about what actually happened, because a lot of the stuff that I've seen on the news, sometimes the news completely gets things wrong, and sometimes the rumor
Yeah.
mill gets mixed up.
Just need, yeah, I think for the owner standpoint, I think yeah, it doesn't sound like it's good, but I recently saw this Instagram video of like a mom adopt like taking on a foster care child. And
Mm.
then she and they were saying like in this meeting like, hey, like the child's been through a lot of abuse and you know, it's a safe home. She's like, hey, let's go get something to eat. And they went out to a restaurant, to a coffee shop, and the kids started like having a huge meltdown. And then somebody walked up on it and was like, oh yeah, get that kid a treat for acting like that. You know, you just never know what is really going on in anyone's life or anything behind the scenes. So I just pray for them too, and hoping at the end of the day that these kids and families have a season. And then finally on that, it just goes to show that like you can have all the titles and all the fanciest rhinestones and all the Nike apparel, like anything, you know, you can have like the nicest of things and have world titles, but there's so much more behind that. So I think for anyone that feels like they're always chasing the titles or the like look, like just be careful of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's just like with a family, right? Or Instagram, like what you put on Instagram versus what's real, or like families who try to have a certain image, but you never know what's going on behind closed doors. It's the same idea.
Yeah, yeah. So our hearts go out to Brio, the whole community, and it sounds like our All Star. This is another reason why All Star community is so amazing because it's not like people. I've talked to a few other studio owners, and no one's like making fun of or just being like ill about it. Instead, people are like, how can we help? Like that's everyone's first thing is like, how can we help? And I know that there's other studios that are close proximity to them that are opening their arms and doors to like these teams to help them have a season. And you know, even here in Iowa, like I've talked to two other all-star owners and they're like, what can we do, what can we do to help, like what? And then it's like also like, well, I don't know if there's anything we can do, but yeah, I think that's what's amazing about the all-star world. It's not like a bashing or like a let's sip tea and judge. It's more so of a like, how can we help these kids? And
Right. To help them
everyone's
have
kind
their
of one.
season. Especially think of those seniors, like not senior team, but like actual seniors where it's their last year on the team.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
that would be
I just want to
a
cry.
rough,
So
rough time.
yeah, definitely big in the in the all-star world, and I just hope that things can work out. And yeah, let's get someone on the podcast to talk and kind of clear the air. And I think there's a lot of lessons that we all can take away. And sending our love to the Brookfield, Wisconsin community.
And then super
Yeah.
excited for today's guest.
Oh yeah. Okay, today's guest. Oh, I personally know today's guest, and I am excited. When we were talking about bringing her on, it's totally different than what we normally do. She's currently a college dancer, um, and was in high school, collegiate studio worlds, and just having our dancer on for the first time. And I think we have a lot of listeners that are in high school and college and can really resonate with the similar stages that they are in life and similar challenges that they're going through. And again, going back to what we just said about image, like this person has been, you know, she's on Minnesota, she's been on Dance Moms and is very well known in the dance world, but also to get to know the person behind that, maybe that Instagram post or reel or TikTok. So I'm really excited. Macy's just a beautiful human inside and out, and I can't wait for her to inspire our listeners.
Yeah, super excited. I've heard great things about her from you. And like you said, she's on Minnesota. She was on Dance Mom. She's a public figure in our dance world. I know in cheer they call them cheer celebrities. If we had dance celebrities, she would be one of them. And so I'm
Oh,
excited for her to share her story.
absolutely. So enjoy today's episode, everyone.
Today, we are switching it up, and for the first time, we're bringing on the show a current college dancer. We have a lot of high school and college age listeners, and we know that hearing from others that are going through similar stages in their lives is going to be really awesome. We hope that today's episode resonates and inspires anyone out there that is a current dancer or has the dream to one day be a collegiate dancer. Maesi Caes, a sophomore on the University of Minnesota dance team, where she proudly won her first collegiate national title last year. Her dance journey actually began when she was 3 years old with her home studio. I'm going to butcher this name. You'll have to correct me. Becky Nalavenko?
Yeah, Becky Nalavenko's, yeah.
Okay, beautiful. In Pleasant Hill, Iowa. She continued her dance career with the Southeast. Again, I'm going to butcher this. Polk Rhythm Mets.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Okay, see, where we got this. Throughout her high school dance career, and she was even the captain her senior year. Her favorite memories from her dance career include dancing in a concert with Justin Bieber on his Purpose Tour, filming Dance Mom Season 7 and Season 7B, World of Dance Season 2, Little Big Shots with Steve Harvey Season 3, and performing on the Pickler and Ben show. Shut up. This is amazing. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're excited to have you, Maesi. You're one of the coolest people in the dance world. Bre earlier said there's like this cheer. What did you call it? Cheer celebrity? What is it? What was the word Bre you said?
I was saying how in cheer they have cheer celebrities, and if we had the same thing in dance, Maesi, you'd be up there and it'd be a dance celebrity.
Oh, I like that. I love that term. Dance celebrity. That's awesome.
So that's you. And we have a first question that we always ask every guest. So one of my favorite leaders is John Wooden. He actually coached basketball many, many years ago, but he has beautiful leadership books out there that I just love and resonate with. And one of the things that he says, there is no education like adversity. And we know all the incredible successes you've had, right? You've had so much success in your dance career. We want to know, what has been your biggest struggle to get to where you are today?
Biggest struggle? Say other people's opinions. I'm a people pleaser, so I want to make sure everyone likes me, everyone likes what I'm doing, everyone likes what I'm putting on stage. And I've learned as I've gotten older to, especially my senior year, is this applies to my solos, like a lot to my solos, because I would have people let's say if I didn't win at a competition, people would talk and they would brag to their friends, or they would just make little comments. And we even had a studio owner one time, a kid that went to her studio beat me, and she was filming it, and she put like Abby Lee gifs over it. And just so my dance teacher saw it, and of course they stuck up for me. So that was like, that was really hard to see, because I didn't really think, I thought the dance community was pretty positive up until that point, and that kind of switched my thinking on how people might be judging me if I lose, or if I mess up on stage, or if I do a certain thing wrong or say something wrong. So just getting to that point is really hard. I still struggle with that tiny bit, but it's in a much better place than it was below my probably junior year and below. So senior year it got a lot better, but yeah. That's definitely my biggest struggle, is just other people's opinions.
That's hard, and I think that's something that a lot of dancers struggle with, because as dancers, you're in a dance studio all day in front of a mirror, watching yourself, judging yourself, critiquing yourself, and then you go on stage and compete against other people who are doing the same thing, you know? What advice would you give other younger dancers, or even, other college dancers who maybe are experiencing the same thing?
I would say that I think the number one thing you can do, it's so hard to be like, let go of other people's opinions. I feel like that's just, it's not reasonable. So even just practicing, if you have the opportunity to be on a college dance team, or even be dancing or be on stage, like that pressure is a privilege. So if you have to kind of, I think, flip your mindset and think about, or instead of focusing on this negative over here, oh, what are they going to think? Thinking about the positive, oh, these people get to watch me. I get to be on stage. I get to spread my love for dance and show my abilities to everyone who's watching, and hopefully that inspires other people. So honestly, just training your mindset and just telling yourself, like sometimes if I have a hard day, or like I know I have a hard practice coming up, I'll look in the mirror and I'll just tell myself like just affirmations like you're awesome, you're incredible, you're an amazing dancer, you're kind, you're just these affirmations, and I say them out loud to myself in the mirror, and I think that really helps that mindset training of just flipping your thinking to more gratitude based instead of thinking about like other people. How does it feel to you to be able to dance? And honestly, that might be hard unless it's taken away. I mean, I didn't dance for, I did dance ish, but for like around 2 years because I had my injury with my little whack back trick. So I was out for a long time, and that I was like really not into dance during that point because it was after Dance Moms, and I feel like that kind of took away my love for dance. So like honestly, the injury happened at the right time because I wasn't really into dance anyways, and so injury made me step back after like a year of not dancing and like kind of dancing, like maybe stretching here and there, but that injury like a year later made me step back and be like, what am I doing? I know I love this. It just randomly one day came back. I was like, you know what? It's been a year. I've been injured. I'm sure I can try something now. Like, so I started doing like flips here and there, getting back into like my tumbling groove because I love tumbling. And that love just definitely came back. So having that pulled away from me definitely helped with that mindset of being grateful for when I am able to dance.
I see. I bet there are millions of people that can resonate with everything you just said. So thank you so much for already like being vulnerable and open and saying telling us your story, and
Mm-hmm.
thinking about too like your mindset, talking about like things are happening for us and not to us. And it sounds like with the injury that happened for you, and even though it was a hard time, it then brought you to another level, and honestly was probably the thing that you needed most to decide if this was something that you wanted to
Yeah.
do
Mm-hmm.
for your future or where you wanted to go. So thank you so much. And speaking of kind of your past, for those that don't know who Macy is, tell us where you're from originally. We talked about Becky
Mm-hmm.
Nalavanco, where and
Mm-hmm.
Southeast Polk. Where is that in Iowa for those that don't know? And then also just your background with your studio in high school.
Okay, so I'm from Altoona, Iowa. My dance studio's in Pleasant Hill, Iowa, so they're
Oh,
super close. It's kind of by the capital, like or of Des Moines, about probably 10, 15 minutes away from there. I love it. I just love it. It's like it's home. So it's not a super small town, but I'd say it's a pretty small town compared to, I mean, it's Iowa. So it's not huge. It's a pretty small town. But I went to school at Southeast Polk and also in Pleasant Hill, Iowa, where I continued. I didn't switch schools at all, so I just stayed there the whole time ever since elementary school, all the way up until my senior year. And then I also stayed with my studio, Becky Nalavanco's dance and tumbling studio in Pleasant Hill, Iowa. There, my high school and dance studio were super close, so I would just drive back and forth all the time. Like, okay, school, okay, dance, okay, home. Finally, at the end of the night. I guess when I was little, I never switched studios, so I've been at my home studio my whole life. I love them so much. Their training is just incredible, and they're just amazing people. They've shaped me into who I am today, and especially Amanda Nalavanco and Becky Nalavanco and Brianna Holland. I really worked closely with them. They helped me get to where I am, mindset wise and physicality wise, with my abilities in dance. And I don't have enough good things to say about them. They're amazing. But yes, I went to Dance Moms a little bit in there, and then I came back and returned to my home studio because I just think it had the best training and just the best atmosphere.
Yeah, I love that. Atmosphere is important. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned earlier, you mentioned Dance Moms earlier. You said that Dance Moms or your time on Dance Moms kind of took away your love for dance. Why, how did that happen? Can you give us a little more insight into,
Yeah,
because I think that's something else that people go through too, is different experiences that kind of take away their love for dance, and some end up finding their way back to dance and some don't. So I'm so
yeah.
happy that you did. What happened?
Yes, me too. The show, obviously there's a lot of yelling. I mean, they don't tell you it's fake. It's like it's mostly fake, but there are some real moments in there. So as a little 11-year-old and my mom even, we were just so confused coming on because no one gives you that you just get thrown into it. So no one gives you any background, like if it's fake, if they're yelling at you, if they actually mean it, or how Abby is. So you just are thrown into it. So I didn't know for the first couple of weeks that um, like every time Abby yelled at me, I thought she just hated me, and I was like the worst person. I was the worst dancer, or the like I had something wrong with me because they like didn't tell me. No one really told me. I don't think they could because that's part of the reality part of the show. So I just that definitely took a toll on my confidence and just being in LA with you're surrounded by so much talent, but it feels a little. Obviously, the girls on the show were incredible. They were extremely nice, but outside of the show, I didn't know anyone, so I felt kind of lonely. And whenever I would go to take classes, I would make little friends here and there, and I feel like I had a pretty supportive or community when I joined this dance group. But like outside of the show, but other than that, it's kind of lonely. People are just for themselves out there. It's really cutthroat, so it's straight to the point. And not everyone, but a lot of people will do anything to just be on top and get that exposure and publicity. So I feel like lacked a lot of genuine connections, and that's where I think my fear of other people's opinions came from because I mean, I was so little, and then I think that's like such a crucial moment in your life, such a crucial age, and though that kind of like filtered into my thinking, like just getting yelled at a lot, and then also just like being in that cutthroat environment with other people constantly watching, having a camera in my face at all times. Just yeah, that's where my fear of other people's opinions came from, or doubting my abilities came a little bit later because I was so little. Like when you're little, you don't really have any fear. So, but it definitely started to creep in around that age, especially like 12, 13. Those years after the show is when it really peaked.
And it's such a vulnerable age. Also, 11, 12, 13, you got preteen age. There's a lot
Yeah.
happening developmentally in the brain. And yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you were just trying to figure out your environment. And you already said, like, there's a lot of it that's not real. But then when you're only 11 or 12, you're like, well, wait, what is real? What isn't real?
Yeah.
Because it's happening to you, like you're in it. So then you're like, wait, is this real? Is that real? Because
Yeah.
they
Just
want
trying to
genuine.
figure it out, navigate the
Yeah.
situation.
Which I'm like, I'm
But
sure they're
yes,
doing that to not tell you, so then they get genuine reactions,
yeah.
but then that's like
Yeah.
not healthy for your mindset to.
Yes, it was just a mind game and confusing. But everyone was so nice outside of the show, so I was just honestly really confused and like taken back because I was like, oh wow, I'm from Iowa. I mean, I was not used to these big
I
cameras and
Yeah.
mics on me while I'm dancing. It was very interesting. But yeah, I feel like that
Um
can either like those experiences can either take it one way or the other. Like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't. I feel like if I would have kept dancing and just like I don't know. I go back and forth with this, and I don't know if I have regret, but since those like 2-ish years that I really stopped dancing, I just wonder if I kept training, if I would be at a different like skill level now, if my skills would be better, if I'd be a better
mhm.
dancer. I still like have regrets about that to this day, but I'm just wondering if that break was needed or if it was. I'm pretty sure it was needed, but because that's where I found my like love for it again, and then it wasn't like a constant I love dance for the rest of my life. It was very up and down still. Like I remember I loved it for a little bit and then my junior and like sophomore year, no. No, I was like back to that same spot, but I didn't quit. I kept going because I like knew at the back of my head I've already been through this. I just need to keep going or else I'll regret this. Yeah, so I wasn't in it mentally when I was doing it, and I feel like if you look at my performances like on YouTube and my solos, you can like I mean, I can tell I wasn't in it on stage. I might have like fooled some people, but I was not. And then my senior year is when that's when I really found my love for passion again, which I'm so excited about because it hasn't gone away since. And not, I think it's just the atmosphere I'm surrounded in because I'm surrounded by the most talented and the most kind-hearted people I've ever met in my life, and just surrounded by so much talent. And the coaches are, I don't have enough good things to say about them either. Like they're incredible, and they just push me to be better every single day. And they're just the most supportive people I've ever met.
Do you think going through that, is that why you chose the college dance team route over going to LA?
I was I had no idea what I was gonna do. I have an interesting recruitment story, which I
Yeah,
can
tell us.
tell
Yeah,
because
tell us.
other people might be in the same position. But for my recruitment story, I was basically I didn't know much about the dance team world because I mean I was on the Rhythmettes, but we didn't go to like UDA or NDA. We went to MA, which is not as like huge as UDA. So the only way I could really learn about the dance team world is to I tell my team like they're like, how'd you figure out about the team? Like I knew about them before I'd seen like one of their routines because my dance teacher said it was really good. I think it was their camp routine. And so I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, they're amazing. But then that's when I was still like thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to LA. Like that was my plan since I was little. I'm going back to LA. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going.
Hmm.
And then I started to question, oh, I think I should get an education, but then that's beneficial, and I can also dance because I know I can't
Hmm.
dance forever. My body's gonna give out eventually,
Hmm.
and so that's when I started. I actually Google searched. My coach and the team laugh about this, but this is actually what I did. I Google searched best dance teams in the nation because I just wanted to go for the best of the best. I want to be surrounded by. I don't care if I'm like the worst one on the team. I want to be surrounded by people so I can grow. I want to be able to grow. I don't want to be like the top person on the team because then I feel like there's no room for growth or improvement. So I was like, I really want to push myself with where I'm going or if I could potentially make it. I had no idea. And then I saw that the recruitment video was due like in a couple days. So I got in the studio right away and I like started filming my recruitment video and then I sent it in, but like I was having issues submitting it. So like at 11, I submitted it right at 11:59, like right at
Oh,
11:59. But
yeah.
yeah, so and then I heard back like a couple weeks later, and then I made it to round two, so I had to go up meet the team, which that was the best experience ever. That completely sold me on it. Just meeting
Hmm.
Coach Amanda, and she just reminded me of my dance teacher back home, and they have the
Hmm.
same name actually, Amanda and Amanda. So I was like,
That's
this is a
true.
sign. This is a
Hmm.
sign. The team and her just welcomed me with so much love, and our head coach, Coach O, yeah, they're just amazing people. So that just drew me in because she talked about all the things that I wanted with the growth. I'd never really done Palm before, and I knew they were like a Palm based school. Like they're into Palm and they win and they do good. So I was scared. I was like, I've never done Palm before except for at like a football game, and we competed it once during COVID, and I feel like we didn't get like a bunch of technique because it was just like a one and done thing. So she was like, "Oh, I can teach you how to do Palm," and I was like, "Perfect." And just from there it just yeah took off and here I am. But I definitely needed this because I also have a problem with getting called out. So whenever I have to do like the dance by myself or like a like I like it's like one of the things where you learn the combo and then you get called out or and they're like filming you. I can't do it. I'll forget probably 50% of the time. It's gotten better though, but it's just that fear of other people's opinions, I think, and I psych myself out, and that's still something I'm working through. I've had that problem ever since Dance Mom, so it hasn't gone away. That's something that hasn't gone away, and I'm not sure how to fix it, and I don't know honestly if it'll ever be fixed. But it's like a completely normal thing. It happens to a
Hmm.
bunch of people, but my team always helps me. Like whenever I do get called out, I that one of them goes up in the front to help me with the dance because I just it's just a mental block for me.
For sure. Palm is definitely its own beast, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I have so many follow-up things. Okay, first of all, going back, you talked about like the times where you wanted to quit dance and you went like up and down and like the relationship with dance has just changed so much in your whole career. And I think I not think I know that dancers go through that, and they go through those
Yeah.
times of like, do I want to do that? I see that especially about 10, 11-year-olds in like our studio that's like, maybe I want to go do
Mhm.
volleyball or something, and you're like, yeah, go do volleyball, but also keep dancing because
Yeah.
they put so much hard work in it, and it's something that they're passionate about. But so my question to that is like, what advice do you have to those younger kids out there that are having that like down moment in dance? What do you suggest for them?
I personally, I think you should stick it out 110%. You're little or you're little, so you're not like getting into your teens, and you might starting to be getting into your teens, but you don't need to pick one thing to focus on yet. Like I think you should expose yourself into everything you can to learn as much about. I love learning. Like that's I just love learning. School, dance, anything. I love it. So I think that's the most important thing is just put yourself in everything you can. It might be exhausting, but when you look back, you're gonna be like, wow, I did that, and it's gonna feel so accomplishing because not everyone can do that, and not everyone's willing to do that. So sticking with dance, I think, is huge. Even if you want to dial it back a little bit, taking less classes, because maybe that little tiny break from dance that's where you'll find your passion. Oh, I miss dance. I want to sign up for more classes. And then also you can introduce trying those new sports in there, whatever other activities you want to try. But I don't think you should let go of that training that foundation you've already built, unless it's something that like you're really called to. It's not your thing anymore. You're called to quit, and that quitting is also okay. If it's not making you happy, it is 110% okay to quit, because your happiness, I think, definitely comes first, and your mental state. You don't want to be showing up to something that you hate doing every single day. And not saying that you're gonna, like, I have days I love practice, I know that, but practice is hard, and I don't hate it. Hate's not the right word, but it's hard and difficult, and you don't want to go sometimes, and that's just the reality of it. But sticking it out because I know I love it so much, that's what gets me through. Even when I'm like, oh my gosh, it's dark outside, it's so cold, I want to sit under my heated blanket, I do not want to go to this practice. I go anyways because I know number one, I have to. Number two, I want to go. Even it's so confusing. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I want to go even when I don't, because there's this part in the back of my brain saying I know this will be worth it in however many months. I'm putting in the work now, so it pays off in a few months when nationals comes, or even with quitting. If you do want to quit, I think that is 100% valid. And I think the biggest thing is you can always come back to. A lot of people think it's too late to continue dancing. We have people on the team who started dancing. Erica Vanucci on the team, she was a rhythmic gymnast like her whole life, started dancing I think 2 years before she made this team, and she's here.
Wow.
So it is never too late. Yeah, her story is just really, it's inspiring, and she's amazing. So just knowing that it's never too late to join or start something new. And I think that also comes with the fear of other people's opinions of, oh, if I start volleyball or come back to dance late, what are these people going to think of me? And it's so hard to say, but who cares what they think, because they're so focused on themselves and getting themselves, like making themselves happy and doing their own things. I think a lot of people don't realize that is they're doing their own stuff. Like they care about you, but like they want to focus on themselves. So I think doing whatever makes your heart happy, and even what makes you scared, I think that's important too. Doing it when you're scared, doing it when you're alone, doing it when you're tired. I think that's the most important thing too. That was kind of all over the place, but
No.
yeah.
On the other side of fear is greatness. Thing.
The other side of fear is greatness. That's so good. And you touched on so many things that I think so many dancers needed to hear. And I can see the light bulbs going off across all listeners, you know. I think it's inspiring too to see when even someone like you, who's had such a successful journey and now you're in University of Minnesota, that it's normal to struggle with these different things. And I think that's the most inspiring thing about this chat with you so far. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And so speaking of things that are hard and doing things that are new and not giving up, how was that joining Minnesota without any Palm experience? Because I know, like, I coach a high school team and we don't have Palm or anything around here in Vegas. So we get these studio dancers who are beautifully trained studio dancers, and they come to high school dance team and they hate Palm. And I know hate is a strong word, but I feel like every freshman at some point has been like, I hate Palm. And then sometimes when they're sophomores, they're still like, I hate Palm. How, or like they'll be an alternate their freshman year, maybe they're an alternate their freshman and sophomore year. And I don't know, what advice do you have dancers like that? And how was that for you learning that new style?
For Palm, I honestly, I loved Palm from the start because hip hop's like one of my favorite styles. I love jazz. I love the sharpness. I love hip hop. So Palm is the exact same. I feel like with the hit and holds, and so it came to me pretty well. Except for I have more of a hip hop background, so I was I didn't hit the motions quite right, but it felt good to do. But with the help of my coaches, that can easily be trained. So every time I would hit something wrong, oh, okay, reminder here, they would come fix me so I could feel it. They'd be like, do you feel this? And I'm like, oh, yes, I feel the difference. And then it's just getting used to that. I was actually an alternate in Palm last year, just due to my lack of Palm experience. And but that role I had to play, I know alternates can get a bad rep, but that role I had to play, that's just like with the mindset thing, like switching your mindset. It's obviously hard at first. No one wants to hear, oh, you have to set out of a dance that you love so much. Um, so that was, I mean, it's hard to hear at first, but it's switching that mindset. As the year went on, my mindset switched to, oh, I get to watch my teammates do this. I get to sit back, and we're still doing it full out on the side with them. Just, we're doing the same thing, we're doing everything they're doing, the people in form, up until that performance. So we're getting that same training. We're doing the partner cleaning, and we're getting those reps in. We're building endurance, feeling that placement, which I'm so grateful for. So I got to sit back. I kind of got to watch my teammates from the side, and I got to see like the placement, how amazing they look, their power, their punch, all the things. So then I was able to learn from that, and that's definitely like a mindset switch, because it's hard to hear, like with the alternate thing. It's so hard to hear that, but I'm glad it happened to me, because now I feel like I have so much of a better understanding in Palm. And then with liking Palm, it's just a mindset. It's I feel like if you don't like jazz or hip hop, you might not like Palm the best, because I mean Palm's a sharp, hard hitting. Yeah, so if you're more of like a lyrical dancer, if you love lyrical, then this like might not be your number one top choice. But it's that mindset of, oh, I get to learn this new style of dance that I've never touched before, and it's an opportunity to fine tune my training and get even more just growth. You get even more training. You get to grow, and just as a dancer, as a person, you're just learning all these new things, and you get to work with a team while doing it. So I think that's the best part, is you have people surrounding you that, number one, know what they're doing, so they can kind of help train you and give you advice. And yeah, I would constantly ask, is this right? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they would help. They're so supportive. So they would help me. And keeping that open mind is super important, because you get the opportunity, you get to learn this new dance style that's extremely hard. I think Palm is the hardest style I've ever done in my life, but it's easily, like, it's one of my favorite styles, because I just love it. And I feel like I've got it down pretty well just from even that year. It's so crazy how fast you can learn by just watching too. So, and yeah, and also doing is extremely important, doing the motions and doing them yourself. But yes, it's so crazy how fast you can learn as a dancer, because dancers they can pick up pretty fast just because of the nature of the sport. So I don't think people should ever doubt their ability to learn a new style. Number one, it's never too late, and number two, it's possible. And I think people would be surprised how fast you can pick up a new style. And even if you're not a fast learner, you have time to work on it. Even on a dance team, you're there for 4 years. I mean, you'll definitely learn that new style within 4 years for sure.
I think that's really good to hear, because like when it's do get a bad rap, they think that like they're less than or not enough, or end up quitting, or all the things that you hear with alternates from high school and up. But I think you're so right. Like the mindset is the number one, and being able to say, hey, I'm
Mm-hmm.
on this team and I play an important role. Because like at the end of the day, like an alternate's job is like, if someone unfortunately couldn't do the dance, then you're going in, so you better know what you're doing. But also you get to grow with it. You get to grow. It's time to it's like the worst thing is you could just not be on the team, or you get
Exactly.
to be on this
Yes.
team, have the experience, and learn and grow and be
Yeah.
grateful for that. So
I
I
think
think that's
anyone
really
else
good.
would pick that option over not
Yeah,
even being on the team at all. And especially
right.
with the role I had to play last year, I was in Dream On, which I like was so incredibly grateful for. And then just like for being an alternate for Palm, it's like, just because you're not in the dance doesn't mean you're not important to the team, doesn't mean you don't add value to the team. It's just a different role. Like each person, our coach is very big on each person. She's just really good about making everyone on the team feel valued. And she says, just because you're an alternate or just because you're in the dance, it does not make you any equally less important. You're equally as important, and just depending on your role, it's just the role you have to play. And you can still add value if you're not in the dance. You're still adding value. You're working just as hard. You're getting the same training. You can
Yeah.
we're still making like giving each other corrections. It's the same. We're on the same exact playing field, and it's just I think that's super important is to know that you're still valued even when you're not in the dance. You're still just as valuable.
Absolutely. So Macy, you're a sophomore, nursing major.
Oh
And
gosh, yeah.
so, yeah, nursing major.
Yeah.
What's your post grad plans? Will you still have dance in your life, or do you think this is like how the chapter ends? What do you got 2 more years? What do you
Yeah,
got?
hearing that, even just hearing you say like this is how the chapter ends, like that pain, that makes me that like
Oh,
stabs. Yeah, I don't know if I can ever live without dance. It's just I just have like such a like I always come back to it no matter what. Like I don't care how many years off. Like I always come back to it, and I've known that since I was really little. Like especially I like felt it when I was really younger, but and then it kind of went away, and then I just keep coming back. So I know like this is just it's what I'm meant to do. But I also sprinkling some nursing in there. I'm not quite sure honestly because I want to be like if I were to get like a job, I'd want to be probably like an aesthetic nurse or a child life specialist or working with kids or something like that, and then maybe some like sprinkling in some women's health in there as well, like opening. I want
yes.
to also get a minor in biz like entrepreneurial management so I can open my own maybe med spa or like women's health spa or something like that. But we'll see if my schedule allows for that. Number one, but then I always considered going back to LA. I'm not quite sure, or maybe if it's not LA, it's like doing something like in the industry because there's like kind of collegiate and then there's the industry, and I feel like honestly they're kind of intermixing a little bit, which is
Hmm.
I love that because I mean they just both have so much to offer. So I'm considering like I would like to. My dream was to always go to LA, and but that obviously switched as I my senior year. It switched. Something in my brain just switched. So I think I'm still considering going. I'd love to tour with like an artist or something, Tate McRae, anyone. I'd love to tour with anyone. So I'm not sure if I want to like I don't want to give up on that yet. So maybe something like going back to LA or just doing like other dance on the side. I don't think I can let it go though.
Yeah, I love that. Advice that I would give you right now too is know that you don't have to decide right now or even when you
Mm-hmm.
graduate senior year of college what you're going to do for the rest of your life because you can change your mind at any minute. Say you go to LA and you pursue that industry for a couple years, 5 years, 10 years, and then decide, okay, now actually I want to go back and use my nursing degree and license and do this. And maybe you do that for a bit and you're like, okay, that was fun. Now I want to go, start a
Yeah.
studio. And you do that for maybe a handful of years, 5 years, 10 years, and then change your mind and be like, actually, I just want to open like a Botox business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this, my advice for you is know that you change your
That's
mind at
really
any
nice to
time.
hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so nice to hear. And I've been trying to tell myself that because I actually just saw a TikTok of this one girl. I think it was actually last night in my while I was like winding down in between like a study session, and she made this fun little TikTok where she was speaking to the camera, and she was like, "Oh, I wonder if or I should be on a reality TV show. I'm pretty funny." And I don't know, she just said something and then she'd cut to a clip of her like on all these reality TV shows, and then she was like, "I should become a pro volleyball player." I'm like, "I think I could do it. I'm pretty aggressive." And then she like split to her like in a volleyball thing, and she just went on and like all these different things like I should do a pageant, and then she was in a pageant, and it was just the most like random things, and like just the key to that or the message to that video was
Hmm.
like you can change your mind at any time. So that's really
Absolutely.
nice to hear, and that's weird timing actually. Like it's that
Hmm.
timing was
Hmm.
perfect because I just saw that video last night, and I'm trying to tell myself that because it's so scary after. I mean, I'm only a sophomore, so it's probably just going to get scarier. But unless I figure out what I for sure want to do, but I'm one of those people who's not very decisive, so I feel like I'll decide at the last minute and just go with something, and then I can find comfort in the fact that I can always switch.
And I can
Yeah.
tell you're a growth minded person. You have a great
Mhm.
mindset. You have a great work ethic. Whatever you do, you're going to excel at. And so don't limit yourself to one thing. You know what I mean? Life is too
Hmm.
short to be stuck anywhere. So I always say, like, never be afraid to take the chance, whatever that is, because you
Mhm.
can always, worst case scenario, you can go back and just be exactly where you were already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know for me, there was a point where there was nothing I wanted more than to be a nursing major and join the Peace Corps and then be a nurse practitioner. And
Yeah.
then I changed my mind, and there was nothing more that I wanted than to be a dance teacher at a high school. And then I was a dance teacher for a handful of years, and it was like, okay, I'm always seeking new challenges. I think that's a big thing for me, at least, and I see that a little bit in you too. And so then it was like, okay, challenge, maximize, and then there was nothing I wanted more than to be a choreographer. Then there was nothing I wanted more than to like open a choreography agency, and it's just like the
Yeah.
stages of life. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I think I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
inspiring to hear. Thank you for sharing that. That definitely helps for sure. And it just seems like you've done a lot of cool things too. So I will always reach out. I would always reach out to you if you, for any advice, because that definitely helped a lot.
yeah, I'm here, girl.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what's the beauty of dance or just being a high level athlete too. Like
Hmm.
but what you put your mind to, you've built that trust inside of yourself to say like I can conquer the next challenge and whatever that feels. Like you have to go inside and say what makes
Hmm.
you the most happy like you talked about and being fear of people's opinions. You have to tune that out because otherwise you're just living someone else's life at the end of the day instead
Yeah.
of your own life. And it's like no, go after what works best for you. And I personally like have had that same similar thing where it's like I wanted to be
Hmm.
a teacher and teach little kindergartners, and that was cool for a while. Then
Yeah.
it was like dance team, high school dance team, okay, yay, let's do that for a while. And then like studio life. And um so I think it's just like Bree said, like you just evolve. And that is what dance has taught us, all three of us, like that you can trust yourself to go after your dreams, and it's for you,
Yeah.
it's dance. Um
Hmm.
and what we love is dance, and so that in a way teaches you that you can just put your mind to it, chase after your dreams, and anything is possible. And you can
Hmm.
be on a collegiate dance team and then go tour with Justin Bieber, like like whatever. Like I don't know if he's touring anymore, but he's a dad now. But anyway, to wrap up, a couple of things. I have two questions actually. Going back to like college dance athlete, I think this is really important because people listening to this are probably in the same uh, journey as you are with
Hmm.
balancing school, homework, practices, games,
Yeah.
technique, lifting, this, that. How do you avoid burnout in yourself? But then also, is there anything that you do behind the scenes? You talked about your self affirmations. Like, how do you do balancing nutrition and sleep and homework? And
Hmm.
what's your tips for like, okay, I have a podcast recording at 11:30 today. Like,
Yeah.
what's your tips
Yeah.
for keeping it all together for anyone out there that is
Hmm.
maybe struggling?
I feel I feel like on the outside I can keep it together, but there's definitely been times like especially with this like last year I was undecided. So my classes a breeze, like the hardest one I had was chemistry. And that was like that's where all my attention went was there in dance. And then this year it's extremely hard. I'm still learning how to balance everything because I have dance team and then I feel like I have dance team. I have school, which I'm studying nonstop. Whenever I am not dancing, I'm studying or in class. Like tomorrow, I have or my Wednesdays, I have class from 9 to 11, and then I have a little break till 1:25, and I go all the way to 5:30. And then like Tuesdays are crazy too because we have practice on Tuesdays, Friday or Thursdays, Fridays, and then this weekend Saturday, Sunday, and then we normally have game day Saturday too. But so my schedule then is like that 9 to 3:20 run back here, which is my classes are 25 minutes away. So I speed walk back here, grab something to eat really quick, and then get ready, head to dance the rest of the night, and then come back, study even more. So I feel like honestly, you have to. This isn't the best advice, but what's working for me is I'm just giving and taking here and there. Like I'm I haven't honestly been thinking a bunch about dance because which like that hurts me to say, but school is like it's just like in my face right now. It's more in my face than dance is. So I'm like trying to focus on getting every single thing done I can and even get ahead a little bit so I can go to dance and give it my all and leave that stress at the door and not let it carry into practice. So I'm trying all I can to do to just keep school out and sometimes it like even the other like I think it was 2 practices ago, like I did break down. I was getting like upset with myself because I was sick last week and I had to miss a practice, and then I had to sit at the other one or at the next practice because I was sick. I'm just run down because I don't sleep like at all, which is a problem. I know it's a problem, but I want to give 110% in everything I do, and that's where I'm learning like I have to give and take a little bit because it's not possible to stay up till 3 or 4 every single night studying, get up at whatever time. Like if we have lift the next morning, we have to be there at 6:55, and then I have class all day and then dance. So I'm just learning to give and take a little bit, but I don't sleep. That's a problem, and that's why I got sick. And then now I'm like, within the last couple of weeks, I'm realizing that like a lot of the girls on our team go to the rec, and I used to go to the rec last year. We just go there and dance and we just work skills, and that's been ripped away from me. I don't have any time to do that, or else I would. I literally don't have any time in my schedule though to be able to go to the rec and work on these skills that we need for our nationals routines. And just I don't get any free studio time, which makes me so happy when I get to like work on skills and get new skills. So that's been on the back burner. I actually called my mom about that. I have a really good support system with my family and dance teachers and everyone here. So they always help me as much as they can. I really use them as a resource. Like my roommates pick me up from class so I don't have to walk 25 minutes or waste any energy on that, so I can go to practice. And so they get me back to the house sooner. They'll make me food. They do the stuff around the house as well. I do when I can, but it's not very often, so I feel really bad about that. I'm talking to them about it. But yeah, they do like the dishes, and they help her out around the house. So then, because they know I have minimal time, and so they've just been amazing with their support. And just even when I broke down at practice the other day, just like crying because I was upset I couldn't get this one part we added, and it was so simple. It's the simplest thing ever, and I just couldn't get it because my brain, when I go to practice, I'm just exhausted from studying, and I know other people are on the team too, so that's definitely a struggle. But we had a really good practice yesterday, so that uplifted my spirits. And yeah, but like when I started crying, they're like, "You got it!" Like just cheering. Then they cheered for me the rest of practice, just like little like tap on the back here. You got a little handshake, just something to know that they're there for me, and they see me and they know what I'm going through. So yeah, I've had a lot of support. Yeah,
support,
yes,
and grace to yourself. And Macy's gonna start sleeping, and
yeah. What do you think would happen if you gave 110% to your sleep and your self-care?
Yeah, I know that.
You think
I do push myself
better? And do you think it would make your dancing better?
Dancing, yeah, I'd probably make better, but it would make my grades worse because that's really the only time I have to study is at night. So I'm like, it just feels so rewarding to get a good grade. Like every time I see, like, oh, like I maintained, I have all A's in my classes right now, which is like,
wow,
I'm really proud of myself because this is the hardest semester of nursing, and yeah, I have 2 A minuses, but like I really want to maintain those A's because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, I'm gonna push myself a little extra harder here. I also just never give up because like I said at the beginning, I'm a perfectionist. So I'm like, okay, I can sleep here, and then I never end up sleeping. Like I'm like, okay, I can take a nap after this. I can nap for 30 minutes and then start studying again, and I never end up sleeping.
But Macy's discovered some meditation practices too, and
yes,
learning
that
technique helps recover as well. Not to give too much away of the inner workings, but yeah, I think what you're going through is very common, and our advice is yes, you have that drive, you have that energy, but also like giving that grace to yourself, finding the ways, if it's meditation or eating the right things, or just taking a hot shower after practice and saying great gratitude to yourself. And also it's a look at like what sacrifices have to be made. Like I'm sure Maesi Caes is not out like having the the typical college experience of like, okay, I'm gonna go party for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then do homework on Sunday. Like that's not what elite athletes do.
Yes. Even with I felt a little bit of that last year because I was like, my friends they go to, I knew no one coming up here. Just like I said, I wasn't into the dance team world. I knew Ava Wagner from when we were 12. I've met her a few times. And so I didn't know, I just threw myself into this. I just came up here, but I'm a very outgoing person. So I just throw myself, I feel like I just throw myself into things, and I can talk to a wall. For my friends, a lot of my friends, I miss them so much, but they go to U of I, so Iowa, University of Iowa. And I just saw them posting all these fun things on their stories, and I felt like I was not kind of honestly missing out. Like, I don't ever get to do any of that. But then that I like quickly realized, like, that was a quick realization of I honestly don't feel any need or like drive to want to do that, because my people are this little circle on my dance team, like those who that's who I want to surround myself with. So I I had a little moment in there where I was feeling FOMO almost. I was like, oh, that looks so fun, and I'm here just sweating and sore all the time and and tired. But that's where I realized that that is a privilege, and even though it might not be like fun to everyone, like that's not everyone's idea of fun. That's my idea of fun, and is that tiredness, soreness, sweating over. I would rather have that over, just personally, I would rather have that like just over something that I feel like is temporary fun.
That.
I feel like this, yeah, I feel like this is just, I feel like that takes a certain mindset also to really stay focused on that. And we also I'm making it like, we have so much fun. Like we get like, when we do get to have these like little fun moments, like we'll go eat or go do something, but it's definitely it's definitely a very, very different experience than just like a regular college experience. Yeah.
You are absolutely like top 1% of people, because just like the 110% that you give into everything is not something that's commonly found. And while you're on a team of the top 1%, and so you're surrounded by that every day as well, but know that that's not normal, and you are just absolutely incredible. And I am inspired, and I will be cheering you on in all that you do.
Thank you.
Let's wrap it up with our last question, which is, what are you most looking forward to right now? What is coming up that you're most excited for?
What I'm most looking forward to, honestly, this semester being done with nursing, with school-wise, because it's been crazy. It's going to feel so rewarding. I just had my last skill check off yesterday, and that was so rewarding, because I can't even imagine how that's going to feel like when the semester finals are done. I'm going to be like, I have a hard semester next semester, but not as hard as this one, so that'll be okay. And then dance also calms down a little bit, tiny bit. So a lot of bit, actually. So I'll have more time for that. And then obviously just nationals, getting on stage. Like, I'm really excited for two-a-days. Like, they're so hard, but that's where our team really comes together, and we make so many fun inside jokes and memories within that time, like, because we are just together 24/7. So we have no, like, we go get food together, we're practicing all day together, and then we're all fighting for something. So it's nice to be on a team where you're all like equally as driven, like you have the same end goal. And then obviously I'm just excited for nationals, because I was actually judging a dance comp. I was judging a dance comp, and I was watching these dancers perform their dances, and I saw this really amazing pom dance, and I was like, wow, like I really want to go out there and dance right now. Like, I want to show what my team's been working on, because I'm just so proud of all of us. And like for the choreographers, they're insane. Linmar, yes. I went to go judge I think Lion Lineage, a competition there with Sarah Liang, another girl on the U of M dance team with me, and we were I was watching Linmar do their pom dance, and I was like, wow, like I was just there saying like, wow, the whole time in the mic, because they just looked so good, and they looked unified as a team. I think they circled up beforehand too, which was really cute, because U of M also does that. And I don't know if they circled up. It was one of the Linmar teams, because they have like a JV and then I think the varsity one, and one of the Linmar teams circled up, and that was really cute. So I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go out there so bad. It just, watching them inspired me to get up and want to dance with them, and also with like my team, because I'm just so I'm just so ready to show them what we've been working on. And it is not there yet, but it's going to get there a bit, like by January. And it still looks amazing right now. So it's just like, I'm just cannot wait for that. Oh, and you know what? I'm excited for Christmas and Thanksgiving to eat food, go see my family. I'm so excited. I love Christmas and I love my family. So I'm excited to go back home. Iowa has this really good crisp air. Like every time I go to Iowa, I just love it because I'm like, oh, home. I can't wait.
Maesi, it was so fun to chat with you. I think you're just an amazing human inside and out. I've loved
Thank you.
you and
Thank
I
you.
off camera have gotten to know each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just I think you're doing great things. You're such an inspiration, and the struggles are real. I think we love ourselves enough to struggle, and that like that's so honest and open, because I think people just again get into that mindset of like, you're Maesi Caes and you're perfect and your life is perfect, and it's like that is not true. And you had a meltdown the day before, and like that happens. It's like what happens after that. Like you didn't give up, you just kept going. And I think you're an inspiration. You're the perfect person to have on for our first episode with a current
Thank
dancer.
you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Marley podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Marley,